If you're a regular on this channel, you probably think I do an okay job at projecting where the economy is headed, maybe a fair job on projecting market direction, and even hit the ball out of the park once in a while. For instance, right now, Tesla is up strongly in a kind of meh response to the numbers today, which I'm a little surprised about the market, but I did say that Tesla would be up a couple of days after the Cybertruck handover because it was going to take a couple of days for the folks to get it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's true. I am an optimist, and that gets me in trouble, especially when I'm trying to guess the Tesla unit and margin predictions. But even there, a couple of times lately, I've been in the top few in the overall Tesla community, getting the numbers almost 100% right on the second quarter this past year. I did have a bad miss in quarter three. All right, so today I'm going to make a bold prediction. I've been making this prediction for months, but I'm going to flesh it out because while it hasn't changed even a little bit, as we get closer, the information gets more clear, so the analysis can become stronger. Now, let me make a big letter caveat. Big letter, okay? Anything can mess this up, okay? When I make a prediction, you may remember last year I predicted the stock would get to Tesla stock would get to 300. I missed it by 92 cents or 87 cents or some such nonsense. And then it went down, of course, and then I predicted it would get back to 300, and I was wrong. Well, there was a really significant thing that happened during that period of time, something about Moody's downgrading the U.S. economy. There was a couple of different folks that downgraded. I don't think they were first. And it crushed the market. Okay, you can't predict that stuff. So that's a caveat. There's always the potential that we're going to go to war with Turkey or some such thing. So we have to be careful about, how we analyze the analysts, because you got to look at what the analysis says as opposed to the fact that some weird thing came out of nowhere and destroyed the actual result. Now, Elon could say something really weird at the earnings call. We could be very close to my number, and then he could just blow the whole thing up, but it won't change the fundamentals. So sometime after that, that recovery will take place. All right. One more thing by way of introduction. This is the Randy Kirk approach. Doesn't have to be your approach. I'm just telling you where I come from, which makes it easier for you to kind of put that together with what you're thinking. I start with the fundamentals of the company first. A lot of people talk about the idea, do I like the product? Do I like the company in general? Do I like their business philosophy? Do I like their management team? Do I like the leadership, et cetera, et cetera? So I want to know the fundamentals of the company. Once I get past the fundamentals, then I look at the economic fundamentals that will affect the actual sales and the profits. So for instance, housing right now, I would not be buying housing stocks because the fundamentals of the economy are not great for the housing market. Now, in a couple of months, when those interest rates start coming down a little more, we have a little more clarity, I might be buying housing stock. Are you getting me? Okay, so I look at those fundamentals of the general economy that are affecting the company. Then I look at the stock market macro to see how that's going to affect the stock. The stock market runs 6 months out. This is a weighing machine that is not looking at next week, but it's also not looking at 5 years. It's looking 6 months out, and it's making predictions about what's going to happen in the economy 6 months out. So what is this market telling me in the way that it's moving in terms of what it sees for 6 months out, as well as will that macro affect the stock of, let's say, Tesla, for instance? And that's the third thing I look at. Then I do a very broad technical analysis. It's so broad. It's really just looking at the charts to see where have there been previous times when there's been blocks, can't get through 260 or can't get through 280, or on the downside, it's likely to bounce off of 220 because it's bounced off of 220 before. And then, if it's bounced off 220 last week and it bounced off 220 again, well, now the third time it'll probably go on through. Those kind of really minimal, very unsophisticated approaches, they have served me well. You may remember that I did 33 times my money day trading in 1 year. That would have been 2020, I think, whatever the year was, when everybody was a genius, but I haven't talked to anybody else that 33 times their money day trading in any year. Let me know in the comments below if you did or if you know somebody else who's 33 times their money. All right, so then finally, I want to say this is not investment advice. I'm not a licensed investment advisor, and even if I was, I don't know your unique circumstances. I am older than dirt. So the vast majority of my assets are real estate and very conservative equities. But I do have a sizable investment in Tesla stock and Leaps and some itty-bitty investments in things like the ARK-K. All right, that's it. So this is Randy Kirk. Are you ready? Are you ready for the numbers? Are you ready for the analysis? Please hit like, subscribe, notify. You know I've got Jeff Lutz coming on later today. I've got Larry Goldberg tomorrow at the lunchtime. I've got Brad Ferguson tomorrow night. I mean, holy mackerel! And then over the weekend, what do we got? We've got Kathy Wood and Larry Goldberg and I on Saturday morning analyzing the Kathy Wood analysis. Wow, holy cow, what a lineup. Hit notify if you want to make sure you don't miss anything. All right, so let's get, one last, really quick. Okay. Yeah, you need to buy these. You know what the deal is. It's all down in the description. This is a good time to do Patreon also because you're going to get value out of this. You'll see. You're going to get at least $5 worth of value out of just today. Now listen up. Here we go. All right, company fundamentals. Never, no, not 2 or 3 times before, not something was close. Never in my almost 60 years of watching the market, I'm coming very close to 60 years of watching the market, building businesses. I haven't been building business. Well, yes, I have actually been building businesses for almost 60 years. And with consulting with over 400 businesses, never have I ever seen anything like the fundamentals of Tesla. Would you agree? Have you ever seen anything like the fundamentals of Tesla? Never. Not in history. Not even historically. Not even going back and looking historically. There's nothing. So for this exercise, we're only going to look at the fundamentals that are likely to affect Tesla investors or potential investors in the next 60 days. We're not going to be looking at, Dojo as a service. We're not going to be looking at HVAC. We're not going to be looking at the stuff that's still out there. All right. So let's take a look. The halo effect of the Cybertruck will be huge, but it will be huge with this small caveat. Tesla needs to start shipping 200 to 1,000 per week between now and earnings day, between now and 60 days from now. We need to see consistent shipping. 200 a day a week would be fine. It'd be better if it's 1,000 a week. Okay. But we need to see consistent shipping. We need to see Joe Tegmeyer. He needs to be flying over there and see him coming out, going on to trailers and being sent out to consumers. This rollout will not merely affect new orders for Cybertruck, but it will also affect new orders for all other Tesla products. Okay, so that's the halo effect. But there's another halo effect. It will also bring in new fans and the curious regarding the stock itself. We need more new blood coming in to buy the stock. Well, that's happening because literally millions of people are buying the automobiles and millions of people are being affected by the energy storage, the power walls and whatnot. But the Cybertruck is just going to be a bigger version of that. So, hey, Ma, would you look at that thing? Let's Google it. Oh my gosh. I wonder if you could buy stock in that company. Yes, the reviews will matter, but the talk around the Christmas parties will also matter. And then the stock will raise based on all of those things. But it's critical that we start to see actual numbers being shipped. My analysis we won't get there if we don't see decent numbers being shipped every single week. All right. B, the Generation 2 story. I did an analysis the other day where I showed you, and maybe you saw this, You need about 600,000 Generation 3 vehicles to equal the profit of 250,000 Cybertrucks. But some really smart analysts are constantly saying that Tesla must have the Gen 3 car to really get their attention. Okay, I agree. Tesla needs to get to 20 million unit sales. In order to get to 20 million units, you got to have the Gen 3. But there's a very good chance that both the Cybertruck and the Semi will drive more profits and potentially eliminate more pollution, save more petrol, and reduce CO2 more than the Generation 3 ever will. So from my thesis, I'm looking at getting a clear-cut announcement by earnings day as to when the reveal takes place on the Gen 3. We might be able to get to all-time high without it. This is not one I'm absolutely counting on that they reveal it by the earnings call, but that would really, really help. But we do need to see some progress. We need to hear more things like we heard from Elon the other day, that it's coming along great, that it's going to be done in Austin, et cetera. We need to hear more optimistically slanted things, but preferably it would be, okay, the reveal is going to be on April 1 or some such thing. All right. C, the US Model 3 Plus. It's only probably $10 a share, but it would be a big help to the fundamentals if this is announced between now and earnings day, or on earnings day, that it's going to be rolled out in the United States. If they announce it on earnings day and they say, hey, it's going to be rolled out in March, that's fine. I would rather it be much sooner, but that would be fine. We need an announcement about when the C3PO, when the Model 3 Plus will be available in the United States. I think that'll move the stock about $10. Energy storage, that's D. This is a big one. Okay, we absolutely need either confirmation of Lathrop going to 40 gigs. We need the confirmation of Shanghai under construction. We need one or both. If we could get both, that'd be a huge help. If we don't get either one of those by earnings day, I think it will be hard to get to all-time high. Now, there's other things that could take over for that, but those two, each of those is probably worth $20 a share. The earnings showing up in the financials, going up and up and up every quarter, is going to be really, really helpful. But to get to all-time highs, I think we need to see confirmation that we are moving ahead with the next mega factory. Okay. All right. E would be bonus points and maybe breaking through all-time high if the V12 comes out and we get a really, really good result on the V12. People are talking about that it's really a huge breakthrough, that we're really there, that this is it, we've got it, okay? Or a serious update on Optimus doing useful tasks and conversation about the fact it's literally actually in production or weeks away from production. Either one of those, we could go even higher. That would just be helpful. Of course, we need to hit these are absolutes. We have to hit 1.8 million units in the year, preferably 500,000 in the fourth quarter. That would be very helpful. We also need to hit higher margins, even if it's just a little, and no price cuts, not between now and the earnings day, no price cuts. Price cuts in January of any significance could blow up the entire theory. Does that mean I don't think we'd still maybe be at 350 or something? Now, you get 2 or 3 of these problems, and maybe we're only at 325. Or you get a couple of breakthroughs that we're not expecting, and maybe you're way over 410. Number 2, the economic fundamentals have to be in place. But I think they are. I got another prediction for you right now that you can hold me to. I'm going to make a prediction right now with regard to shorter term bonds, the 2-month, the 2-year, and everything in between. They are now super ripe for the picking. Remember a couple of months, 3-4 months ago, when I said that the 10-year at 5% yields was super ripe for the picking, and that maybe I would buy bonds for the first time in my life, and I didn't, and I'm sad. I'm probably going to be sad again because I'm not going to buy the bonds. I'm not going to buy the 2-year or the 2-month. And I'm not suggesting you do. It's not investment advice. All I'm saying is this is just another one of those situations where it doesn't make any sense anymore. This is beyond making sense. And so therefore, I think there will be a massive rally I think that the bonds will just skyrocket for the 2 month and the 2 year and everything in between. And yeah, it's going to happen soon. Maybe next week, maybe this week. I mean, it's going to happen really soon, and the drop in yields will be precipitous. Okay, and this is going to help Tesla stock a lot because this is going to have a greater effect on short-term consumer borrowing and purchases, and that obviously is going to help Tesla. Now, of course, as these bonds go down, all of that is helping Tesla stock because growth stocks like Tesla, the PE is partially based on the expected interest rates going out 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Okay, so as those interest rates and the expectations of those interest rates come down, the stock goes up automatically in that case, just like we've seen, especially with the Cathie Woods the last couple of weeks. Actually, all of November, the Cathie Wood stocks did very good, and they're already doing well in December. All right. A fantastic help to markets would be some kind of clear-cut continued increase in productivity and continued clarity on inflation dropping. Now, those two go hand in hand. I'm going to give you my analysis again. I believe that productivity gains will, the fourth quarter productivity numbers will come in super strong again. I think it'll be, I don't know if it'll be as strong because it's really hard to predict, but I think productivity numbers will be fantastic. And then the inflation numbers will be dropping partially because of that, and partially just because they're getting back to normal after all of the craziness of the last 3 years. So I'm saying inflation is down, continues to go down. I'm saying productivity goes crazy. The economy might flatten out a little bit, but I see a real possibility that it stays stronger than expected. So what's going to happen? So then what is the Fed going to do? I think that the Fed is going to become more and more irrelevant. Oh, I know. Have you seen anybody else's headline on any of these things that I just said? I haven't seen one headline saying that the short-term treasuries are going to go crazy and the yields are going to drop like a rock. Nobody else is saying that. I don't see anybody else saying the productivity is going to continue to be staying way, way up there like it was in the third quarter. And I don't see anybody yet saying that the Fed is going to become irrelevant. But these are all true. Okay, why is the Fed going to become irrelevant? Because the market is going to figure out the interest rates instead of the Fed. If they don't drop the interest rates, it just won't matter. Okay, but there will be a psychological effect on the stock market if the Fed gets dovish. If we start to hear dovish comments out of the Fed, like we did last week, the more dovish they get and the higher the prediction about March cuts get with regard to the economists that are polled, as we see it go, it's above 50% now, expecting a cut in March. If we see it getting to like 80%, that is going to affect the stock market. So that is going to be really, really good. But this is now 4 predictions, at least, that I'm making here in this little short video. The Fed is going to become irrelevant. And I think they will drop the rates in March, maybe even sooner, but March for sure. Okay, there is another part, though, of where the Fed is not irrelevant. So they're irrelevant on interest rates, but they're not irrelevant in terms of money supply. They need to take their foot off the quantitative tightening. They could just stop selling bonds. They don't have to buy any bonds. Stop selling bonds now. Not in March, not in January. Now, they need to stop selling bonds. Right now, we need the velocity of money to pick up, and we need the money supply to stop dropping. We just need that. It just has to happen, right? Very, very important. Could it kill it between now and the end of January? I don't think so. But at some point, it could really start to impact the overall market. Otherwise, there are no fundamental reasons for the stock market to not continue upwards, which will carry Tesla along for the ride. Okay? Number 3, from a technical standpoint, in my unsophisticated way of doing technical analysis, there are 0 technical reasons to keep Tesla from going where it is right now, 245, wherever, 250, whatever it is this morning. It could go all the way to all-time high in 2 weeks. I mean, like for instance, as the V12 or the full self-drive, the version 12 of the full self-driving came out to the public, and there was a huge recognition that it was basically solved. The stock could get there in days. I mean, it really could. It could go, as we've seen Tesla do this before. It could go up 15 points a day for 3 days. It could go up, it could do, 100 points in 5 days, 6 days. It's done this before, okay? And it could do it again. Or let's say as I mentioned before, even like Optimus came out, was doing useful things, and it was announced that production was starting in 2 weeks. I mean, the stock could go nuts. Or if we started to see Cybertruck shipments at 1,000 a week in January, things like that could just, but there's nothing. There's no 300, 305. It's a round number problem. 400 is going to be another round number problem. 350 might be a round number problem. I mean, these are, but no, in terms of actual technicals, there'll be, what do you call it? 50-day moving averages and 100-day moving averages and all these moving, I don't know. And there's all kinds of sophisticated, golden crosses and I don't care. I'm not interested in any of that. I just look at these really broad things and there's nothing to keep it from going. All right, so there you have it. Blow it up. Let me know in the comments below. Poke holes in it. Tell me I'm an overly optimistic hyperbull who's never right. and then I'm going to be wrong on everything that I just said. 4 predictions. We'll see what happens. Okay, or agree with me. Tell me I'm too low. Tell me that the Fed was already irrelevant. Tell me that you saw a headline the other day that said that the Fed is going to be irrelevant. You didn't see that headline because I see every headline so that I can keep bringing reports to you like this. And if you like this particular day, if you like what I'm doing here, please hit the like button. It really helps my algorithm, helps the channel more than you can know. Becoming a subscriber. I'm almost at 18,000. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. 18,000. I'm almost there. I understand at 20,000, you get a special, the algorithm sees you differently. So we need to get to 20,000. Then hit notify because you want to be reminded. Tomorrow at lunch we have Larry. Tonight we have Jeff Lutz. Tomorrow at lunch hour California time we've got Larry Goldberg talking about his new theory, and then we've got forgetting all the names. I can't keep up. Bradford Ferguson will be on tomorrow night as my co-host, and then Saturday morning, Larry and I will go over Kathy Wood's analysis. I mean, holy mackerel, what a lineup that is. And then if you got one last minute to think about it, this is the time. Place your order right now. Don't do anything else. Stop the video right now. It's over. We're done. Oh, want to look at Tesla just for fun? See where it is right this exact minute. At this exact minute, Tesla's up $6. Okay, that's where it's around the high for the day. All right, so you want to get this because you want to make sure you have it in time for Christmas. You probably need 10. That's my guess. You probably have 10 nephews, nieces, grandchildren, maybe even adult children that are all into the Cybertruck. They've been seeing the stuff. Everybody's talking about it. You could be the funniest, most interesting person at the party because you bring one for everybody. They're $20 if you buy 20. You could be handing them out like candy and everybody would love you. All right, this is Randy Kirk. It's been great talking to you.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.